Are you boys, homosexuals? Homosexual? No, sir. But we are willing to learn. Ripes! Released in 1981 and is directed by Ivan Reitman, who's directed such films like Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters 2, and Kindergarten Cop. No, it's not a tumor. It's not a tumor. And this film is starring Bill Murray, Harold Ramis, and John Candy. John Winger is a lowlife living in New York City, and when he's dumped by his girlfriend and quits his cab driving job due to a bunch of Karens that day, he decides to sign up for the army because that seems like the best place to go. And he is given a hard dose of reality because joining the army is a lot harder than what it looks. But this is Bill Murray we're talking about, so he needs to give his little flavor into the whole concept of boot camp and the army. And that says it all right there. It's Bill Murray. This is going to be a funny movie. I've never seen this film before this viewing, and yeah, I was laughing out loud a lot through this entire thing. Bill Murray and Harold Ramis paired together, it's just a recipe for a lot of shenanigans. Now, the film came out in the early 80s, and I don't think we really had a big dose of what boot camp would be like until like a couple of years later with the release of Full Metal Jacket. Now, I've never been in the army, and I haven't interviewed anyone that has been in the army and has gone through boot camp, so I'm mainly speaking just from my viewing of boot camp and my understanding of what it is through film. But from what I know about it, I think it's a lot harder than what we got here. Here, the army and boot camp just seems like a little bit more intense summer camp for adults. Yes, you have to do a lot of physical activity, but all the drill sergeants and really anyone in authority seem pretty nice and well-tempered. Not a lot of shouting, as opposed to, say, Full Metal Jacket. But the film is listed as a comedy, so you kind of just have to tell yourself, sit back, kind of turn your brain off from what you know about military and army stuff, and just have a good time. It's Bill frickin' Murray. Bill Murray is just a national treasure. He is one of the funniest people on this planet, and actually a very talented actor. I love all of his dramatic stuff. And he has this magical way of always looking like he's in his 40s, even though he's in his 20s or his 30s. He always looks older than what he actually is. It's the hair. It's that hair and it's that 5 o'clock shadow. I have to keep telling myself that, hey, this movie came out before Ghostbusters, so this was kind of Bill Murray establishing himself. Of course, my first blood with Bill Murray was Ghostbusters, so now that I've seen this movie afterwards, I'm like, oh, well, he's just kind of copying his comedic style from that film, when in fact this one came out before. So I gotta keep telling myself, don't do that. And this film also has a hilarious performance from Harold Ramis, again, someone who joined him in the film Ghostbusters. I want to say he's more of the straight man to Bill Murray, but that's not true, because there were points in this film where he was the clown, and Bill Murray was kind of the goof, but more of the straight man goof. He always seems to have a smile on his face, which I think is just him as a person. But I also don't think you would have that smile on your face during boot camp. Oh, it's so hard for me to take this whole army boot camp thing in this movie seriously, because there was a point when they're all kind of getting to know each other, and they're all just sitting around the barracks, and the drill sergeant is going like, okay, what's your story? And he's sitting on the chair like he's your best friend, and everyone just goes around the circle and shares their background and where they're from and who they are. And I know that boot camp and basic training, I don't care. The idea behind that is to break down their individualityness and make them all a singular unit. But here in this film, we don't get that. We get a lot of, hey, I'm an individual. I'm going to do it my way. That's basically what happens to his entire unit during the graduation ceremony. They do their own thing. They do their own march. And the major is like, oh, these people completed basic training on their own without the help of their drill sergeant? These are exactly the type of people I want working on my secret project. But is it? No? Wouldn't you want people that you've trained and trained the way that you've wanted them to be trained, not them training themselves? Because what if they train themselves wrong? You'd want them working on your secret weapon project? Again, Caleb, turn off your brain. It's just a funny movie. Now, I watched this on DVD, and the DVD that I had like extra bonus scenes or like an extended edition, and it would warn you as it was coming up that, hey, extended scene coming up here. And you can definitely tell why they're extended scenes and they were deleted from the theatrical cut, because a lot of these scenes just kind of pop out of nowhere and they're here for no reason or to allow us to see naked women on screen. That's really all that they're here for. Which, speaking of, this film paints women in not the best light. You talk about exploitation, and that's this movie. Because apparently all women are good for are getting naked and for falling in love with the men who are the leading actors. And why do they fall in love with them? Because it said so in the script. Yeah. Seriously, there are two women here who are part of the army police, so they're kind of just roaming around the grounds at all times, and we really see no connection, or at least no scenes with these two women and Bill Murray and Harold Ramis. But then all of a sudden, hey, let's go explore the Major's house. He's not going to be back until the weekday. And then they're all flirty, and they're all like, oh, yes, I'm in love with you. Out of nowhere. And then we get naked women mud wrestling. The women in this movie are not painted in the best light, and probably this film should be docked for doing that, but I also can't help that this movie is also freaking hilarious in other scenes. It does, however, suffer from Full Metal Jacket syndrome, which again is amazing that Full Metal Jacket came out, I think, 6 years after this movie did, because the plot of both of these movies has the same problem, where it starts off in basic training, it starts off in boot camp, and I'm loving what I'm seeing. It's probably what this film is most known for. And then all of a sudden, we leave basic training, and we go on this one secret mission. And the pacing, everything about this movie, falls flat. I know there are some people that defend the second half of Full Metal Jacket, and that's all, well, good for you, but for me, the second half of Full Metal Jacket it comes out of nowhere, and it kind of erases everything great that happened at the beginning of the film, and the same thing with Stripes. We have a great comedic basic training segment here, and then all of a sudden they get called away to the secret project because, again, remember, they completed basic training on their own, and now they have to fight in this weird armored out Winnebago into this weird Russian camp. Reasons. I really just wish this movie would have ended during the graduation ceremony. I thought that's where we were headed. And then all of a sudden, oh, we have like another 45 minutes. I thought we were done. So if I could recommend anything to you, it would be the first half of this film. It's hilarious. Great comedic performances from Bill Murray and Harold Ramis. Shout out to John Candy, who I always love seeing on screen. He doesn't get a lot of screen time here, but when he's on screen, it puts a smile on my face, because I love that man. But then the second half is definitely jarring, and the pacing is definitely not the same. Heck, the writing is not the same. It's definitely not as funny. Now we're trying to get this action spy movie out of it, and doesn't work for the tone. So if anything, watch this up to the graduation ceremony and then press stop. I'm gonna give Stripes 3 out of 5 Blu-rays.
Not exactly what I had in mind, but not bad.
Alright everyone, now comes my favorite part of my videos, where I randomly select which movie I'm gonna be watching next, so let's take a look. Bad Moms. Another comedy. A film that I have not seen, actually. I think this movie came out, what, maybe 5 years ago? Because it seems 5 years ago. It's probably even older than that, actually. I have no idea when this came out. But I remember seeing a bunch of trailers and a bunch of commercials all over the web when this film was coming out. I know Kathryn Hahn is in it, which is never a bad thing. She is one of... Bill Murray is a national treasure. Kathryn Hahn is a national treasure. But I know it's supposed to be super funny, so we'll check that out next time. If any of you have recommendations of films that you want me to review on here, leave your comment below this video, or go to my Facebook page, my Instagram, or my Twitter. Leave your recommendation there. If I have access to it, I will watch, review it, and give you a shout out on the channel. And if you want to make a PayPal donation to get your recommendation expedited to the front of the line, you can click on the PayPal link on the main page of my YouTube channel. Any size donation will do. Attach your movie with your donation, and if I have access to it, I will watch, review it, expedite it to the front of the line and get it done as soon as possible. So guys, have you seen Stripes? What did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across it because of this video, then comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell so you know the next time I release my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time with my review of Bad Moms. So in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.